6:30 p.m. ladies and gentlemen, if you are just joining us, you are watching Viewpoint on DBS television. In tonight's edition, we'll be going back memory lane to some few events that happened last year, but which in one way or the other still has an impact on the ongoing crisis in the northwest and the southwest regions of Cameroon. To discuss about some of the killings that happened there recently before we entered into the new year, we are having Cameroun as a political observer in tonight's edition. Good evening to you, Mr. Kamer. Thank you very much for being part of us.
Good evening, Vanessa. It's always a pleasure to be on your program, and we equally greet the viewers who are always there. Mr. Venatius, I equally greet you, my brother. Happy New Year once more.
I was about asking that question, whether it is the first time that we have seen this 2021 or...
I think,
because
yeah.
I remember we met last year.
Yeah, we met last year.
Mm-hmm. All right. Happy New Year.
Wow, a wonderful one for you.
Thank you very much. Mange Venatius, good evening and welcome.
Good evening, Vanessa, and Happy New Year to Mr. Kum. That's the first time we are meeting for this new year. And good evening to our viewers. It is another opportunity for us to talk about the close to 5-year crisis in the northwest and southwest regions. We have been talking about it since, and we continue talking, expecting that maybe this year things may turn, for the better.
We are hoping so. Let us have the first part of the show. It has to do with the questions, and in question 1, with the recent killings in the northwest and the southwest regions, are there any hopes to solve the crisis in 2021? Cameroun?
Humanly speaking, no.
Humanly speaking, no. So what other way? No. Anyway, we'll have that in the second part.
Yeah.
Mange Venatius?
Yes, Vanessa, I think we will.
Yes, we will. And is there any impact of the killings to the crisis in the regions? Mange Venatius?
Yes, there are.
There are. Jerome, do you think the same way?
Yeah.
Yes. Coming down next, let us have the debate. With the recent killings, that is a month back in the northwest and the southwest regions, are there hopes to solve the crisis this 2021? Cameroon, you think that there is no hope? We are talking of the killings that happened. A lot of them, the killing of about 5 persons in the Momo division, including the journalists, the killing of about 2 persons in Tuba district, and lots more. You think that there is no hope to solve the crisis this year, which has gone for over almost 5 months.
Almost 5 years.
Yes, that's it.
Yeah, Vanessa, thank you very much for this very question and to this very issue, which is like something worrying some of us who happens to be of the English-speaking expression. With the recent killing and the many killings that have taken place since the emission of this crisis, I still believe that we have little hopes, because people are not honest. What is actually tying down this crisis is what? Pride. Because the Bible tells us that the pride go before the fall. Because some people, like the government, they have the knife and the yam. If they decide today this crisis going to end, it will end. But as to the question, the recent killings in the northwest and southwest, it doesn't give any hope for the crisis to end soon. Why? Because as the killings are going on, the people who had some hopes that the government who had promised them adequate and total security, they are not doing their job enough to guarantee, to assure them of this security. People are dying on a daily basis and places are still being burned down despite the assurances of what? Security, which is a responsibility on the part of the government. People are dying. Houses are being burned. Families are continually being separated and put asunder, because if you lost a loved one today, that's eternal separation, and most of the dead are who? The youths. And it is only aggravating to what? royal exodus. Most of the people are still flying out. Because of what? Recent killing. We talk of the Mbatu. We talk of the Tuba, the Momo. It is deplorable, and it is not giving the people hope, because having hopes of something is like, it should be reducing. Focus should not be on what? Reconstruction of what has already been destroyed or what has already been damaged. But we are saying that the damage is increasing. And it baffles me that when things like this are still happening, the minister will come out on the television and make some type of declaration which are dumbfounding and provocating. Like to say, the president has won the war against the separatist fighters. For God's sake, there is no nation in the world that can ever win a war against its people. Because if these separatist fighters could be spotted and say, this is a separatist fighters, maybe they would have located them and exterminated them. And because the cause of the crisis, they are genuine and legal, they have to go to the table, call the people and dialogue. There is no hope if we continue with this dishonest, and in fact, people who are not like being true to themselves. It reminds me, the peak of this crisis started when somebody came out and said there is no Anglophone crisis.
Like you're saying, it's the same minister who is now praising the head of state.
It's the same minister who is now praising the head of state. I don't even think that...
Saying he has succeeded in containing the crisis.
He has succeeded in containing the crisis. But yet, since 2021, we have 30 deaths and counting. Since 2021. So I imagine how somebody of that caliber would just say, we have won the war against the separatists. Let us be honest. Let the government take its responsibility. The people are losing hopes. Vanessa, to be sincere, some people, if they had the opportunity to like leave this country or to change their nationality, they would do it. People have stayed in the village. I know of people since the outbreak of this crisis, they are in the village hoping for who? The government to come and put an end to the crisis. Now most of them are fed up, they are tired, they are losing their loved ones every day, every night. No solution to the crisis. And so where are we heading to? If the people who are out to protect us, I don't know the separatists, I've never seen one, but I know the government, I know the B, I know the army, who is there to protect me. Why the killings, whereas they are there? And also, it cannot end, Vanessa, because some people have taken this Anglophone crisis to be their cocoa farm. They eat, feed, fat, and they don't want this crisis to end. But they have to know that there is a God in heaven. If you believe that you will be feeding fat while others are dying on the blood of others, no, there is karma. If you don't reap it, your generation right up to the foot will face it. That's the reality. Because I don't know what is difficult to call. I'm not for separation. Like many other...
many others.
Yes, many other Anglophones. What is difficult to call people and be sincere to ourselves? This thing didn't erupt from the air. We know the history of our country. And it is because somebody felt cheated somewhere, somehow, and we are seeing it every day. Why not come together and put an end to the crisis? Still endangering the life of people. Go back to school. Look at what happened in Kumba. Look at what happened in Limbe. Look at what is happening in the whole of the Anglophone region, because we decided and we are obeying the government that stay in your places, go to school. We are going to school, but when we go to school, they kill us, they cut and do all type of horrible things on us. So the government should be responsible enough and be honest, have the fear of God at least, and put an end to this crisis, Vanessa.
Thank you very much, Jerome, for your point of view. He thinks that there is no hope to solving the crisis this year 2021. Mangavena Shoes, you rather think that there is a lot of hope. So what are some of those possibilities you see that could lead to an end to this long-lasting crisis?
Actually, I begin with the declaration. The Minister of Territorial Administration, he was in Bamenda from the 18th of January, and actually he declared in a security meeting that the government has won the war against the separatists. You know, he had a security meeting with administrative authorities of the region. From all the divisions, they came to Bamenda to assess the security situation of the region. Vanessa, you cannot sit here in Douala and you declare what is happening in Kamer. You cannot sit here in Douala and declare what is happening in Momo division. You know, these are administrators who are coming from these regions, from these divisions, from these localities of the region, because it was not only the SDOs, they were there with DOs. They met to, and from the report that they gave him, the situation, like he declared, is already under control.
Manga Venatius, how many times have these government officials given false reports to the hierarchy?
The fact that they gave a false report once,
that they have been giving.
Yes, the fact that they gave false report once or have been giving does not, refer to the fact that they cannot give a true report. Because if we want to remain too pessimistic, then we are not even sure that today is going to end. We are not even sure, because we need to be positive in this crisis that we are in. When the minister said that the government has defeated the war, it did not end only in these words. He said there are still some pockets of resistance, and in these localities they are under control. He did not say the crisis has ended. He did not say the war has ended. No, he said the government has defeated
the president has succeeded
in overpowering the separatists, the fighters. And look at what happened during the meeting. 9 fighters, came, surrendered their weapons to the minister. I think that, Vanessa, we have some good news.
It makes me laugh.
Yes, Mr. Kum.
It makes me laugh because I saw fake Amber boys during the so-called national dialogue who presented themselves to be Amber fighters. This country, everybody is able of playing all kinds of games. Look at the minister who was killed towards when they were installing 1-0 around the Momo division. I talk of the
divisional delegate for communication,
who lost her life.
Yes.
And if things like that doesn't come to limelight, they will tell you that nothing happened. This country is capable of doing anything in order to play the card that they are doing the right thing, which is false. All what that man said up there is fallacious, and it's just to defend the point that he has been defending from the onset.
You have a point there, Mr. Kum. Remember that the situation, if we must be honest to ourselves, we will realize that the situation is not as it was. From every indication, the situation has reduced to pockets of resistance. The crisis is no longer what we had 2018, 2019. No, if we have to be sincere, it has reduced to just this particular locality. And what their modus operandi now is hit and run kind of. You cannot you cannot have them as they used to be out there. They just target a particular situation, particular locality, hit and disappear. We must indicate that the military, you said that people are there, and the military is there, yes. But remember that, like you said, this is what they call, the war is in such a war that you cannot identify that this is a separatist fighter. These are still Cameroonians.
So where is the hope now to solve the crisis this year?
The hope solving the crisis this year is from what happened during this minister's visit in Bamenda. I think that if we can have many of them depositing their arms like they did in Bamenda, 9 of them, there are hopes that their friends would, do the same. Remember, before the last year rolled out, the coordinator of disarmament center wrote out the program of the structure where they are going to they are constructing an enlarged center in Bamenda to make sure that they accommodate these our brothers and sisters who were misguided, misdirected to take up the arms, to come back out of the bushes so that they can be reformed, and reintegrated, reinserted into the society. We think that if such initiative like the DDR, program, if it is enlarged, we would see most of them coming out of the bushes, and if they come out of the bushes, life goes back to normal. The level of ghost towns that we used to have on Mondays has dropped. I have not said it has ended. It has dropped from what used to be. The other day, I was following information from Boya, and life was circulating in Boya normally. The African Nations Cup that is going on in Boya, in Limbe,
Mm-hmm.
In those days of the crisis, we would not venture to have such a competition. Yet it is going on. So we believe that...
But we know that the crisis did not have or doesn't have much impact as far as affecting activities in Limbe is concerned.
But it's still within the northwest and southwest regions.
It has always been the case, so you cannot use Limbe as a practical example.
But life in Bamenda...
Some military were just seriously wounded between Ombe and Molewe because they were being transported in armored cars that were transporting some of the march officials. They were wounded, which means officials are transported using the armored cars. So there is still problem. They are still looking for one.
Even the teams that went there, they were heavily guarded.
Yes, they were heavily guarded. If you go, it's just as if the stadium, we have military everywhere. I've been in the Southwest about 3 times because my son is there. In all of those story buildings, as you look up, you are looking at bees. And somebody who is not used to that, you will be like in a panicking situation. Mr. Venasio, let's be honest enough. You can't kill a tree by cutting the leaves. You go to the root of the matter, and then you solve it there. Building this disarmament center, that's wasting our money. We are taxpayers, wasting our money for nothing. Building more prisons and then allowing children to continue in drugs and other illegal things will not help empower them and do what is supposed to be done. Bring life to normal. Okay, Mr. Venatius, they will come and drop the arms. Some. They will build those disarmament centers. There are children today who saw how the military, because in Wom Central, where I'm coming from, near the palace, Eve of New Year, that is on the 31st, 2 young innocent children were shot by the military who were doing their patrols. And there are some grievances that are still there. For the government to start up this thing, we need some type of apologies. Apologies from certain people, Mr. Venatius.
That's why in one edition here, we're talking about the form of reconstruction they are talking about. Will it be only the physical, or it will go, or it will follow other aspects? Manga Venatius, you are concluding with your first point.
Yes, that is why I'm saying that it is true that if we keep on, identifying all the incidents, we may spend the whole day identifying them. It's true, all these things exist, but then let us have a positive mind. I don't think that there is any Cameroonian, and to talk the worst, there is any Northwesterner or Southwesterner who would want this situation to continue, except perhaps those who know what they are benefiting from it. And like any other Southwesterner or Northwesterner, the whole cry is, let us be positive that 2021, this crisis will be solved. We've gone a long way. We're already 5 years into the crisis, and 5 years is is too much for people to keep suffering like this. So that's why I think that let us be positive, because if we keep, like they say, when you want to broker peace, you don't go counting how many people have died. When you want to broker peace, you don't go counting who was wrong and who was right. The target is, let us look forward, and our gaze is on peace. Can we attain peace? If we can attain peace, then that should be the best option. Because if we have to look at what happened, no, we would end up in the same crisis.
Thank you very much.
So
thank you, Manga Venatius. Thank you very much
crisis will end
for your point of view
this year, Vanessa.
But if we have to be positive, then concrete decisions or resolutions have to be made in order to bring a final stop to the crisis. In the second question, is there any impact of the killings to the crisis in the regions? Cameroon, you think that how is it going to affect the crisis itself?
Yes, the continuous killing has a lot of negative consequences on the crisis. One, it is only going to prolong the crisis. Why? Because as many people are killed, especially the innocent one or the guilty ones, some people who had never hoped of maybe joining the separatist camp, you have just killed my two brothers. I may be the next target, so I'm going to join the separatist camp to revenge for the death of my brothers. So the immediate effect is that it will prolong the crisis, because many people who were thinking that the separatists were not right would join them, strengthen them, fortify them, and come back for revenge. The next thing, or the next consequence of the killings on this crisis is what? Many people will lose hope on the government, security forces who are out to protect them, secure their properties, secure their lives. Killing people means the military have failed in their obligations to guide, keep the properties and the belongings of the citizens they claim to protect. You can't sit in your house and then they come and remove somebody right from the house with the police, the gendarme, the bee, the army, all of them combined, and then you are still killed. Hope on the government is completely lost. And then people who had the stand of what? Because we have English-speaking Cameroonians who have the stand of federation. Some had a stand of what? Secession, separation. People who believe in a federation will be shifted, or are gradually being shifted to what? Better it is separation, total separation, because these people have failed. They have deceived us to send back our children to school, and our children are being men, they are being killed, they are being brutalized, and to this effect, we cannot trust them any longer, because we don't have the security that they promise us, that they guarantee to us. It's just like a trap that they have been setting to us many times since the advent of the crisis. They say, no, go back to your normal activities. We will protect you. As we go back our normal activities, they kill us, they molest us, and we come back. They tell us, no, send children to school, go to the market, go to this. We are the victim. So hope is lost. They don't more trust the government forces who are out to protect and defend them. That will be some of the consequences as far as the crisis is concerned. And as the killings are continuing, it creates what? International awareness, of which I don't even believe in any international intervention to bring a solution to the Anglophone crisis. We are matured enough to bring peace to the Anglophone crisis. It's just a matter of what? Being honest, truthful, and sincere to us. Just like Romo said that maybe in the days ahead, the representative of the Pope for Cameroon will be coming to Cameroon, maybe for other ecclesiastical missions, and will also have a say, because any foreign official who comes to Cameroon does not live without having a say on the Anglophone crisis.
Even those out there, they have been saying.
Yes, they have been saying, whereas it is a simple thing to do, that let's come on the table, let's dialogue and put pride aside. Some people are up because we have Cameroon is a type of country. We have two presidents who have never been elected. Ahijo was not elected. He handed power to Mr. Biya, whom himself was not elected. Now, I don't know whether we are waiting for the power to be handed to somebody else who will not be elected to bring a solution to the Anglophone crisis, because the crisis did not start today. Since the days of Ndele, Foncha, Mona, and the rest, these crises were there, but in the dormant stage. It just exposed itself in 2016 with a lot of accumulation of the grievances and the pains. So what we are saying is, Vanessa, if care is not taken, it will go very far. The consequences will not end now, because children who are born...
We are really talking of 5 years.
Yes, so 5 years. But the people who are so proud, they didn't believe that this crisis will even make up to 3 months. Yes, no, they said no, on va le fini. But here we are today. Life hasn't got a duplicate. And let authorities know that they have been placed by God where they are to serve the people, not to serve their interests, not to serve themselves. Anybody, whether you are a president, you are a priest, a bishop, a imam, you are placed there in that authority by God, yes, to serve who? The people that God has placed at your disposal. We need peace in the northwest, in the southwest. Even today, it is possible.
Even today, it is possible. Mangavenashus, you think that the impact or the killings will have an impact on the crisis?
Yes, Vanessa, let me take off from where Mr. Kum ended. We need peace in the northwest and southwest regions, and this peace begins from us. If we don't put a reconciliatory attitude in the way we look at this crisis, we may be ready to face this crisis for more than another 5 years, Vanessa, because we need to accept at one point, if you and your wife, you and your husband are at home and both of you are right, that home cannot last for long. One person must at one point be humble enough to own the blame for the sake of peace. At home, at times you accept that I am wrong. Not because you are wrong, you are accepting it to solve a situation. That is the way I look at this crisis. At one point, we must work for peace.
I think maybe that's why Kum says pride. We should keep pride aside.
Consciously, we have to consciously work for it. We must know what we are doing. It should not happen by chance. When I look at the consequences of these killings to this crisis, I'm instead seeing a negative one. Look at what almost happened, and it has not even died down. With the killing of the communication divisional delegate in Momo Division, it was like putting the Northwesterners against Southwesterners. If you listen to what I don't want to call the word popular, I want to use the word unpopular chief in the Southwest region who's called Moja Moja.
Notorious chief.
Yes, well, that's why how he refers to himself. If you listen to his outings, you see a different picture of this crisis already. From a national, situation to becoming a tribal, if not a regional war. Mm-hmm. Yes, it will pitch the Northwest to the Southwesterners. And in this case, it will no longer be a national issue. That is why you will get people like, they killed our sisters. Who are they? They killed somebody from the Southwest region. Therefore, those from the Northwest region should leave the Southwest region. That is further disintegrating the country. I think that it is high time at one point there must be a takeoff point. No matter, St. Augustine says, to every sinner there is a bright future, and to every to every sinner there is a bright future. To every saint there was a dirty past. To every country there is a bright future. To every stable democracy there was a dirty past. We need to put our dirty past, look at our bright future as a country, look at our bright future as people, as brothers and sisters, and move forward. Because if we keep looking at the dirty past, Vanessa, we may find ourselves marking
so if you were to advise the government on the concrete decisions to make to end the crisis this year, what will you tell them?
That we should keep our dirty past and look at the bright future as a country, as a government. We should keep our dirty past, look at the bright country as a bright future as a country. Because if we keep on and we put our pride aside, there is no way, because we are not fighting another country. These are Cameroonians. Call them separatists, call them terrorists, call them whatever names. They are Cameroonians. And therefore, that is why they don't recognize them. They recognize Cameroon government. And it is the Cameroon government that can solve this situation because they are the recognized institution. Separatists, they are not an institution. Mm-hmm. That is why everybody is looking up to the government to solve the crisis, because the separatists, they cannot solve the crisis. It is the government that can solve the crisis.
Thank you very much. Mangavenashus, Kumchiruma, last word.
One last word is the government should take a responsibility of protecting the children and the citizens of the Northwest and Southwest whom have been asked to go back to their various localities. That peace is guaranteed for them. Let the government maintain or respect its word. Humility is what we need, and honesty to end this crisis. Even today, this year, is possible.
Even today, this year is possible, and that is what we all are hoping to see, that the killings will end this 2021, that government will take far way better or concrete decisions to end the killings happening in the Northwest and the Southwest regions of Cameroon. That's it, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for watching. Do stay tuned to DBS television, and of course, we'll be back, God willing. Stay tuned.